Welcome back to my Stardew Valley perfection run. The goal is to achieve perfection in as few days as possible. That includes maxing all 5 skills, shipping every item, catching every fish, donating every mineral and artifact, crafting every item, cooking every dish, reaching max friendship with every villager, completing all monster eradication goals, collecting all golden walnuts, building all 4 obelisks, and constructing the golden clock, all without Joja. Let's continue. On the first day of summer, I step outside and get a jade for my crystallarium. Then, it's time to collect from the crab pots and prepare my summer field. Taking a break, I use tree fertilizer on all my own grown oak trees. And craft a few more sprinklers to maximize my field. Heading to Pierre's, I purchase my first round of summer seeds. I buy an ice cream for the community center from Alex. And pick up my reward seeds I had left at the museum. Back on my farm, I start to get everything planted. The community center has a bundle for quality crops, so I'll use fertilizer on my melons. I can also get an extra harvest of blueberries if I use speed grow, so I'll do that as well. Then, I spend the rest of the day collecting copper in the mines for more tree tappers. On the 2nd, I grab the resources I need to buy a silo from Robin. I'll collect the rest of the summer forage I need for the community center, which I'll then donate. Although Robin doesn't normally work on Tuesday, if you catch her passing the counter, you can still employ her services before she leaves. Over at Clint, I'll have him upgrade my pickaxe. Back on the farm, I make enough torches to cover my fields, just to keep things bright and looking good. Overnight, the landslide is finally cleared, and I am able to access the railroad as well as the spa. And reach combat level 6. On the 3rd, Mayor Lewis asked me to find his shorts. After I do my first bit of summer fishing on the beach, It's time to catch my first legendary fish, the crimson fish. Afterwards, I stop at Marnie's to purchase some chickens. Then, I donate a few items to Gunther. This rewards me with a rare crow. On floor 100 in the mines, I fish up the lava eel. Originally, I had saved the star drop for a complete energy refill, but I grab it now so I don't forget it again. On the 4th, I make sure to pet the new chickens, then head back down to the beach to catch an octopus. I also turn in a Help Wanted quest for Willy. I pick up my pickaxe from Clint, deliver the octopus I caught to Linus for another Help Wanted quest, and give Jess a pink cake for her birthday. Over at the mayor's, I exchange my prize ticket for a couple mystery boxes. Up at the railroad, I start planting a lot of pine trees. I'm going to need a ton of wood over the run, and having my own personal tree farm will help. Down in the mines, I make a push to reach the bottom. On floor 120, I receive the skull key. On the 5th, all the oak trees are grown, and I make sure to tap them all. In the fruit bat cave, I find a pomegranate and a peach, both of which I need for the community center. I set up a new chest for community center or quest items, and ship a few things I don't need. Back in the mines, I'll work on some more completion by catching the stonefish. On the morning of the 6th, the chickens start producing eggs. I'll spend the day fishing in the mountain lake for sturgeon. Thanks to the Jewels of the Sea Book, a treasure chest has a chance to reward me with some sturgeon roe, which I can process into caviar. I'll need 2, one for shipping and one for the missing bundle. Back at the community center, I donate the items I've collected so far. And complete the vault room. Overnight, the Junimos repair the bus, unlocking the desert. Also reaching foraging level 8. On the morning of the 7th, I go to Robin and purchase enough wood to commission a barn. At Clint's, I have him start upgrading my steel axe. Taking my first trip to the desert, I'll collect the new forageables and fish up the 2 desert fish while I'm here. Entering the oasis, I meet Sandy. Back at the mines, I'm hunting for 2 squid kids to complete a help wanted quest. I get a little too careless and unfortunately take a death to a slime. Fortunately, the only items lost are the desert fish I caught earlier. Embarrassed, I crawl into bed. Overnight, I reach mining level 8. On the 8th, I finish off the Squid Kid quest. And turn it in to the wizard. Then, I give Gus a diamond for his birthday. Filling out more of my fishing collection, I stop at the beach to catch a super cucumber at night. On the 9th, I pick some flowers, which I'll need for the community center. Tomorrow is the first storm, so I craft and place some lightning rods to generate batteries. At the community center, I have more items to donate. At Clint's, I pick up my steel axe. At Gunther's, I donate a few artifacts I've collected. And pick up another rare crow. I move the crab pots to the beach and decide to check Willie's shop. It just so happens that the ice pip is one of the few fish I haven't caught yet. So I buy some trout soup, a trap bobber, and the bait. Back on the farm, it's time for another chest. I'll keep the artisan goods and cooked food here. Then, it's time to check out the Skull Caverns. Unfortunately, without a good weapon, I won't make it very deep. Warping home on just floor 22. Overnight, I reach combat level 7. On the 10th, it's finally a rainy day. I'll catch 2 red snappers on the beach. One for the community center, and one for a Help Wanted quest. Up at the community center, I drop off 1 red snapper to complete the ocean fish bundle. I'll deliver a birthday gift to Maru. The lightning rods are almost full, so I'll craft a few more to make sure the farm stays safe. Now, it's time for the ice pip, one of my least favorite fish in the game to catch. I go find Leah and hand over the red snapper, rewarding me with a prize ticket. Which I turn in for a star drop tea. On the 11th, while chopping trees in the Cindersap forest, I stopped to catch a goby. Then, it's up to the railroad to plant more tree seeds. I'm trying to plant as many as possible before the Green Rain event, as it has a chance to make them grow to full maturity. Just before 2, I warp to the beach to attend the luau. After saying hello to everyone, I add a gold sturgeon for the best response. On the 12th, I collect my first batch of oak resin, and start filling the silo with hay. Then, it's time to pick the first harvest of blueberries. George had requested a fresh blueberry, so I take him one. At Pierre's, I sell a chunk of the blueberries now, which will allow me to buy a few melon seeds, as well as the largest backpack upgrade. At Marnie's, I purchase a cow to go in the new barn. Using my steel axe, I can clear these bushes, which will allow me a lot more freedom with the farm layout. It's time for another new chest, this time splitting farm crops and forageables. At the traveling cart, I purchase a holly, one of the 2 items left that will guarantee I need to go into winter before I can finish the community center. I also purchase a rare seed. The 12th through the 14th has extra forageables on the beach, so I'll make sure to check that out for the next few days. I craft a glowstone ring, which is a nice combination of magnetism and light. Overnight, I reach farming level 7. On the 13th, I harvest my first batch of melons. I deliver some fresh wheat to Linus for a Help Wanted quest, and drop off some summer crops at the community center. I deliver a birthday salad to Alex, since I don't have a better gift at this point. And at Pierre's, I buy an apple sapling now to make sure that it grows before the end of fall, since I'll need some apples to complete the fodder bundle. Heading back to the desert, I dig up a couple artifacts and get a bit more farming XP from a book. I also purchase a few desert warp totems, which I can use to get an early start in the Skull Caverns on a good luck day. I spend the rest of the day in Skull Caverns getting combat XP. Overnight, I reach foraging level 9. On the 14th, I catch the wood skip in the secret woods. And spend the day killing dust sprites in the mines. Checking the monster eradication goals, I'm halfway there for the dust sprites, and making good progress on some other goals. I pay Marlin to get back the scorpion carp I need for a Help Wanted quest, and head into Marlin's back room to collect a Book of Power. The Mapping Cave Systems book will make Marlin's item recovery services cheaper in the future. I pick up another Book of Power behind the blacksmith. The alleyway buffet will make it more likely for me to find items in trash cans. Overnight, I reach farming level 8 and mining level 9. On the 15th, Marlin returns the scorpion card. And despite all of the lightning rods, a stray bolt still killed one of the blueberries. I have a Help Wanted quest to say hi to all the villagers, which will grant me some bonus friendship with everyone. Turning in that scorpion carp to Sam gets me a prize ticket. Which I turn in for a blue pinstripe bed. Which I throw right in the trash. I also remember a prize ticket I have access to behind Joja Mart. After a long day of talking to townsfolk, I finish off with Pam in the saloon. Using the second prize ticket, I collect some more preserve jars. On the 16th, green rain has descended on the valley. I harvest the blueberries, and spend the rest of the day collecting moss and fiber from the weeds around the valley. On the 17th, I bribe Marnie with a diamond to make my way into her room and grab Mayor Lewis's shorts. Then, I bring Sam a cactus fruit for his birthday. Afterwards, I return the shorts to Lewis and collect my reward. Up at Robin's, I have her begin constructing the big coop. And pick up a few of the cheap crafting recipes. While collecting more wood, I receive my next book of power, Woody's Secret. This will give me a chance to drop extra wood while chopping trees. At Clint's, I put my pickaxe in for a gold upgrade. And hand over a pale ale to Pam to complete another quest. At the museum, I donate a few artifacts I've collected. And then take another batch of items over to the community center. Back in the mines, I continue to slay dust sprites for the monster eradication goal. On the 18th, I bring a red mullet to Sam for another Help Wanted quest. And once again, spend the rest of the day slaying dust sprites. On the 19th, I start incubating a dinosaur egg in the new big barn. Then stop at Marnie's to purchase a duck. At Clint's, I pick up my gold pickaxe. And go to Robin to start construction on the big barn, but change my mind and decide to save my money for the deluxe coop instead. While I'm there, I deliver a birthday gift to Demetrius. Digging up an artifact spot, I receive my next hat, the floppy beanie. Back in the desert, I trade some gems for more spicy eel and triple shot espresso. And then spend the rest of the day in the Skull Caverns. On the 20th, I have another blueberry harvest. I also have a full fruit bat cave. Over at Gunther's, I donate a few more artifacts I picked up. Heading to Pierre's, I sell some more blueberries. And then up to the community center with a few donations. Up at Robin's, I commission the deluxe coupe now. And deliver a melon that Demetrius had asked for. I spend the rest of the day at the annual trout derby. Catching a rainbow trout will have a chance to reward me with a golden tag. Turning in the first few tags rewarded me with my next hat, the bucket hat. After turning in all the tags, I head home and place my new mounted trout on the wall. On the 21st, I begin the mysterious key quest by placing a battery in the bus tunnel. Heading up to the railroad, I spend the day collecting wood. Making a brief detour to put a rainbow shell in the box on the train platform, receiving the next quest. On the 22nd, I take a single artifact to Gunther. And deliver a birthday gift to the dwarf, where I also pick up another book of power, a rare crow, and a crafting recipe. The dwarvish safety manual will cause me to take less damage from bombs. Then, it's back to slay more dust sprites. Overnight, I reach foraging level 10, selecting the botanist perk. On the 23rd, I spend the morning fishing for largemouth bass to complete another help wanted quest. Then collect some ore in the mines for a second help wanted quest. Turning them in rewards me with a prize ticket. Heading to Gus's, I buy up a couple of complete breakfasts, which are a loved gift for Alex. Turning in my prize ticket, I receive a pomegranate sapling. On the 24th, I have another harvest of blueberries. At Marnie's, I purchase a couple of rabbits for my new deluxe coop. Heading to Willie, I give him a sturgeon for his birthday. Even after 1,000 hours in this game, I still occasionally forget that Pierre's is closed on Wednesday. Heading to the desert, I accidentally animation cancel on my fishing rod, which causes the reeling sound to happen for the rest of the day. I'll mute the audio so you don't have to hear it. I'm here to catch a scorpion carp for a Help Wanted quest. Because of Willie's 6 Heart event, Gus will be selling crab cakes for the next few days. Unfortunately, I currently have no money. I hand over the scorpion carp to Abigail and finish the Help Wanted quest. I push to complete the monster eradication goal for slaying dust sprites, but I can't quite finish it before bedtime. Overnight, I reach farming level 9. On the 25th, I collect my batteries immediately, as there's a second thunderstorm in a row today, and then I harvest my second batch of melons. Up at Robin's, I commission the big barn. And warp straight to the desert. I'm very thankful when the slime finally drops a prismatic shard. At the end of the day, I collect a second prismatic shard from an iridium node. On my way home, I transform one of the prismatic shards into the Galaxy Sword. On the 26th, I purchase a pumpkin from the traveling cart, as it is the crop that will take the longest to grow in fall, allowing me to complete the greenhouse earlier. I deliver a hot pepper that George had requested. After all that grind, it turns out I missed the monster eradication goal by just 2 dust sprites. Picking up the burglar ring, I equip it immediately. The burglar's ring has a chance to double monster drops occasionally. Then it's over to the museum for another round of donations. I'll also grab the pumpkin seeds before fall. Completing a Help Wanted quest to slay slimes awards me with another prize ticket, which gives me the Friendship 101 book. This will give me extra friendship when gifting or talking to villagers. I also purchase a stack of crab cakes from Gus. Pierre's poor customer service skills irritate me. So I break into his wife's sunroom and steal her tea leaves. While working on my shipping collection, I finally collect my reward from that quest earlier. Overnight, I reach mining level 10, selecting the blacksmith perk. On the 27th, I spend the day gifting villagers as many loved gifts as possible. I take a break to buy some artifact troves, and head to Clint's to process a large amount of geodes. Because geodes are seeded, with enough trial and error, you can determine exactly what you will open from any geode in a specific order. This allows me to make a large amount of donations to Gunther today. Notably, I'll save the marble, which I'll duplicate in the crystallarium before donating it. I also received the Treasure Appraisal Guide, which makes artifacts sell for more. On the 28th, I wake up to Gunther giving me the rusty key, then harvest my final batch of blueberries. I'll purchase a goat from Marnie for my new big barn. And spend the day in the school caverns. Even with the Galaxy Sword, I will keep the Holy Blade for slaying mummies until I receive the Crusader enchantment. At the end of the day, I place my marble in the crystallarium and warp to the beach to enjoy the Dance of the Moonlight jellies. After a very busy summer season, I tuck into bed one last time, reaching combat level 9. Comparing my progress, I've made good strides towards perfection, but there's still a lot left to do. I hope that you'll join me on the rest of my journey.